Alright, so what is up guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a rate bottom sheet. So as you can see here, we already have a single button, and when we click on it, we will get this dialog at the bottom that says, do we like the app? And if we say not really, it will trigger this toast, but we can try again. And if we say yes, I do, it will give us some more options that we can rate the app now. We can say no thanks or remind me later. And all of these buttons do something. And also you can customize the text to whatever you feel like, or click on the X. And in theory, when you have your application on the App Store and you click on Rate Now, it will open the App Store and it will take you to the package name of your app, which will be the application on the App Store. And that's what we will be making in this tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is go and check in the description, because I've left a link to the dependency that we'll be using, which is a rate bottom sheet by LobsPower. So you go down here, it will have a usage, and actually we can extend this a bit, and we just need to copy this dependency right here. Then we're going to go to our build.gradle file, and we are going to insert it right under the dependency section, just like that, and click on sync now. And the next thing we have to do is go ahead and open up our browser again, because we need to copy the strings from the string section. So just go ahead and take everything that's inside the resources, and then go back to your Android Studio project, and go to the res folder, to the value folder, and to the strings folder. Then you're just going to have to paste them inside here. And this is where you'll be able to edit the text for your rating pop-up dialog. And yeah, we'll move on from there to the layout XML for our main activity. So go to activity_main XML and click on split view. And inside here, the only thing we have to do is change this to a button and change this to rate app with an exclamation mark, plus give it an ID of button, let's call it. And that's all we have to do in our layout XML. Then we can go straight to our main activity. And inside here, we need to first call app_compat_delegates.setDefault night mode night no, to make sure it stays in light mode on our phones. Then we're going to refer to the button by using find view by ID. So find view by ID, it's going to be of type button, and we just need to locate it with the ID, which is just going to be called button. Then we can go ahead and set an on-click listener for our button. So button set on-click listener, and inside here we'll type in set up rate bottom sheet. And this is a method that we have not created yet, so it will show up in red. And right below the onCreate, we're going to type in private function setup rate bottom sheet, because this is where we will add all the code that we need. So the first thing we want to do inside here is call the rate bottom sheet manager and of course pass the context as this, and then set the debug force open enable to true, which means that every time we click on this button, the bottom sheet dialog will open up no matter what. Because of course, when you're using this in a real app, you'll have some conditions such as once 3 days pass, or once the app has been launched 10 times, or some condition that makes sure that the dialog opens up after the user has used the app enough times. But this just guarantees that when we test it, it will always open no matter what. But next we can go ahead and call the rate bottom sheet manager. And of course, we need to pass in the context, which is going to be this. And then right below, we can do set install days. So you can pick how many days you want to wait before calling the dialog after the initial install date. Let's pretend we want it to be called after 2 days. And then we can also add a minimum amount of launch times. So let's go ahead and put maybe 5. And then let's go ahead and set a remind interval. And this is how many days you want to wait when the user clicks on remind. So let's put 2 days. And then there's another few methods, such as set show ask bottom sheet, which we want to set to true, of course, because that's the whole purpose of this. And then we have a set close button icon, and we want to set that to true, but you can choose false if you want. And then finally, there's a show later button, which we can set to true for this example. And then to do this, we have to call .monitor, so it checks for these conditions before we actually open the dialog box. And then we need to actually call the method that opens it. So we're going to type in rate bottom sheet and show rate bottom sheet if meets conditions. And we need to pass in the context, which is this. Then we can add a listener, which is going to be this over here. And that's going to be an object of type ask rate bottom sheet. And we need to write action listener. Then we can open a pair of curly brackets. And then inside here, we can do Command or Control plus O, and it will have a few methods that we can override. So we'll click on dislike click listener, on no click listener, and on rate click listener, and click on OK. So this will give us a few functions we can override in case we want to do something when they click on these actions. And in my case, I just add a toast to each one of them, so you can see what they actually do or where they're actually being used. So let's pass in the application context, and then we'll just type in on dislike, and we're going to do the same for the other two. And then remember to change the text to on no click, and here to on rate click. And then that should be everything you need to know to actually customize the setup rate bottom sheet. If we go back to strings, we can change the pop-up message to something nice, such as rate me 5 stars and I will give you some free stuff. Something that goes completely against the terms and conditions of the Google Play Store, something like that, you know? And once the app is running, you'll see it looks exactly the same as the previous example. And when we click on the Rate app, it will pop up where it says, like this app, do you like using this application? We can click not really, and that will trigger the on dislike button. If we go here and we say, yes, I do, it will say rate this app. And here's my custom message that says, rate me 5 stars and I will give you some free stuff. And we can say remind me later, and nothing will happen now, but it will remind us in 2 days to rate it. Then if we go here again and we write yes I do, we say no thanks, it will say on no click because we didn't do anything here. And finally, let's say yes I do, and let's rate it now. It's going to open the Play Store for us with this specified package name. And yeah, that's actually all I wanted to share with you guys in this video, how to create a very simple rate bottom sheet dialog. And as always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to look at them. Otherwise, with that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.